Hello, welcome to the program, The Dex on Global TV. The Dex is a program that comes to you intermittently on days like this where we look into issues. Usually the program is supposed to be, journalist roundtable, where we look into national issues from the papers, the issues that are trending in the dailies, and then we analyze them. As time goes on, we'll get a better perspective of the entire program. But indeed, today, I want to tell you that the Dex will look into so many issues, categorically two to be precise. I want to look into, the military interregnum, where we are beginning to see today in Africa. Most of this country, particularly West Africa, most of these countries that today have been taken over by military junta, they were formerly democratic in nature. And suddenly we began to see coups upon coups coming. The latest is the one that really took place before the government of Nigeria decided to intervene to restore back the president that was almost being removed. And we have series of that really happening. And one begins to imagine what are the reasons that we're beginning. This is a form of government that the people in sub-Saharan Africa were saying wasn't quite good enough. Rather, they chose to practice democracy, and democracy is a government for the people, by the people, of the people. That's the definition. Where all of us participate and contribute to the growth of the country. In the military, nearly everything appears to be autocratic, and people felt it wasn't a very good system, and they opted for democracy. But today, things are changing. What is really happening? Is it that we are not practicing democracy very well, or is it external intervention, or is it lack of economy, lack of strong institution, or what? And that's the more reason why I decided to invite a well-knowledgeable journalist he practices journalism for a very long time, and is there on ground to further put into perspective some of these issues we'll be looking at. Again, another issue we'll be looking at today in the National Assembly, we saw the Committee on Finance, calling the stakeholders to meet on the issue of MTEF. Remember that 2026 budget has not been brought to the National Assembly before they could even deliberate on the principles and then allow committees or ministry, department, and agencies to bring their contribution, what they're supposed to get as a result of that. One wonders what is the reason, or what are the reasons that has brought about that delay. But we're made to understand that about two budgets are still running. The budget of that of 2024 and that of 2025, both of them are running concurrently. Why? Is it something is wrong? When government receives loans all the time, is there any deficit in funding the budget? That's why they go out to borrow money. Yes, it is possible. Then what have they been doing with these borrowings they have been going out to get? And why have they not been able to make sure that what they propose in those budgets in the past, 24 and 25, they have not been able to meet up with these challenges? These are the things we'll be looking at. I'm here to tell us more. My guest in the studio this evening is not any other person than Jumbo Okechukwu. It's a pleasure having you, Jumbo.
It's a pleasure to be here today.
Yes, I'm sure you have listened to the opening of this discussion this evening. Like I said, the Dex is purely journalistic approach to issues, looking at the issues that are trending on the dailies, and then we'll put ideas into them in the way we understand such issues.
Yes, having listened to you, I understand one particular issue you raised, especially the first one that has to do with the changes, military incursion into governance in Nigeria, not in the whole of West Africa, that is actually coming closer to Nigeria. You talked about, ask questions, why is this becoming a phenomenon? Why is it becoming recurrent? Why is it that the military is about coming back to power after they have restored democracy in some of these countries? And we all know the reasons for that. Bad governance.
Bad governance.
Bad governance. West Africa, in fact, the whole of Africa is like we are against. What we call democracy is not actually what people bargained for. A lot of the countries, they are experiencing so much bad governance to the extent that they regret even having a democracy. You see presidents come to power and entrench themselves to almost become like life presidents. They amend their constitutions and give themselves multiple tenures. They stay there till the almost die. Let's talk about Look at Cameroon, our neighbor here.
Yeah.
Can you remember when Paul Biya became president?
I can't.
Look at Talon. Look at all these guys that were removed. You ask yourself, what type of democracy is this? Anybody who enters, the first thing he does is to try to go to their country's parliament and alter the constitution so that you can have more things and on and on. It's not like even when they stay this period that they better the lives of the people they are governing. They don't better them. They enrich themselves and their families, and it keeps going on until the people are frustrated. So anything is better to them. Anything is better to the populace. People, you saw how people were rejoicing in Niger, in these other two countries, Burkina Faso and Co. Because it's not like they like military, but anything that is alternative to what is happening is welcome, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them because most people, like they said, what is governance all about? Is to give them protection, to give them to better their lives, give education, health, infrastructures.
Yeah, but when they were saying bad governance, I was like, this bad governance, will that be restricted only to Francophone countries? Because it appears like this change of government from a democratic setting to a military setting is purely, it concentrates more on the countries at one time, governed by the French government.
No, it's not.
If you look at Niger, you look at Mali, Burkina Faso, the attempted coup that was aborted in Benin Republic,
yes.
And it's only Guinea-Bissau. I think Guinea-Bissau was under the Portuguese there. Yes. Otherwise, any other one, Sahel region, mostly this bad governance, is it the interference of the power that be, or that was at a point, that crippling the economy for the benefit of their own people outside the African continent?
No, I don't think it's because of the colonial influence that these countries have. Even the English-speaking countries, maybe if it has not happened now, it looks like it will happen in the future. The people that are being governed, are they happy? That is what you should ask yourself. Even in the English-speaking countries, are they happy? Because it has not happened now doesn't mean that it might not happen. Our prayer is that let it not happen. At least let the people governing even those that it hasn't happened yet, let them remember that the people they are governing, ruling, that they are watching them, that nothing lasts forever. If you are given power, use it to better their lives. These things are so simple. Sometimes I ask myself, is it that people are jinxed when they enter governance? They don't remember. These people that are there, one person, you keep aggravating, you keep gathering, you keep enriching yourself, you keep you and your family. While those that are around you, they are wallowing in poverty. Their roads are bad, their education system is terrible, the health system is terrible, everything. And yet, you go to foreign countries and you see how they live and you see how their infrastructures have been developed, yet you cannot do it. You cannot do anything to better it. This is actually what brings about this change in governance that we are seeing. And then you ask yourself, are we getting it better in Nigeria? Are we getting it better? People are complaining. And now you talk about also this new trend, this insecurity. The Sahel region, these first things happened. You know what's happening in the Sahel regions. You know the kind of insecurity they're having at the moment, which have entered Nigeria. It has entrenched northern Nigeria. It's even spreading to other parts. Are you not scared? Where are these people coming from? How do people enter the bush and live inside the bush and then they come out and start attacking people for no just reason? More than 80% of Nigerians do not know why we have insecurity. They do not know why people will live inside bush and all they think about is to kill, murder people, kidnap, gather money, buy more arms, and they come out again and next more areas. And the governance and government thinks that it's normal.
So like I asked you this question, or like the way we are discussing.
Yeah.
Basically, while I agree with you that even the English-speaking countries, they don't find it easy.
Yes.
The citizens there are suffering like any other.
Yes.
But again, when you put it on scale of justice, you will realize that the Francophone countries are really finding it very tough to really live. For instance, why would a leader, stays in government for closely 40-something years, even if when you are advanced in age, with particular interest in Cameroon? Paul Biya had just won the election for another set of, is it 6 years or thereabout?
Yes.
And he's 92. And if he's going to rule again 6 years, you add 92 to, obviously he's getting to 100 years. By that time, he might not even know who himself is. But exactly. And if you imagine if he stays longer in government, it can only be said that he's doing good. But somebody staying more than necessary, 42 years you are still in government, still there are bad roads in Cameroon. Yet this country is very rich, don't forget. Cameroon is rich. The roads are bad, and that's the more reason why you see very many of them today. They are the ones, that have jackpot to many European countries and America as well, because of bad government. The institutions are weak, the economy is weak, the interference by other external forces is equally there. And you begin to imagine, I'm aware that, of course, in Africa as a continent, life hasn't been good to most people. For the time some of them struggle to become self-rule countries like the way Nigeria is, it's been so pathetic as a matter of fact. We were thinking that, asking the colonial masters to leave and then we take over governance, probably they will do much. But if you look at Nigeria as it is today, Jumbo, it's only those things that the military built we are still using. We've been practicing democracy for the past 25 years or 26 thereabout, from 1999 to date. But physically, there's nothing you can say, okay, this is what the democratic government has really done for us. The assembly they are using was built by the military. Most of the high-rise in all offices, is it the Federal Secretariat you will talk about? Is it the planning of the Abuja city? All done by the military. Today is fight all over the place, over parcels of land, as a matter of fact.
See, my brother, I have to tell you something. What is happening in the continent, even in the sub-region, is not surprising. Because I have the pleasure to have visited some of these Sahel countries, and then you ask yourself, do they actually have any form of governance at all?
Imagine.
They are wallowing in poverty. You notice that it's only those who are related to
the government,
those in government that are doing well. So that is why when any form of alternative, like I said before, comes, like what you call military rule, the people start jubilating all over the place. You will see it on and off. Okay, you will see a lot of them. All they are fighting is to continue to entrench, continue to hold on to power. They suppress every form of opposition. From the Sudan down, they are suppressing every form of opposition. Every day there is rebellion from the people. Why? Because they are not finding it easy. Because governance is just bad. They are not getting what they bargained for. Now, let's bring it home to Nigeria. We are happy democracy is still here. For how many years are we having it easier? This is a question for you and I to answer. Mm-hmm. Are we having it better? If we have such a kind of a thing in Nigeria now, will Nigerians start jubilating? Let's pray that such a thing does not come. That is the more reason why those who are ruling us should be up and doing. They should look at governance as something that must be done. They should look at this insecurity that is all over the place. Now, Christmas is here. People will be thinking of traveling. A lot of people are afraid. What will happen on the road? Kidnappers, bandits, and all that. These are the things that is bothering a lot of Nigeria. And they said governance, the first thing in governance is to protect human lives. This is not the first thing the Constitution talked about, to give life and to provide security, lives and property. And that is one of the things that Nigerians are finding difficult to get now. So will you now say that this government, not just this regime,
preceding ones.
Have they thrived? Have they done well? Would the Nigerian clap their hand for them? Would the Nigerian be happy if there is anything like an alternative government, like what you and I were talking about?
What we're experiencing in other countries within the Sahel region.
What happened in Benin that it took Nigeria to go to quell, and the ECOWAS is now bragging that they will not allow that to happen. Wouldn't ECOWAS wouldn't they be minding itself by actually pushing those people that are ruling in those areas to entrench good governance? Wouldn't they be doing peer review? Wouldn't it be bothering them that they should insist on the judicial?
The leadership, ECOWAS leadership is equally amazed with the number of military coups.
No, they shouldn't be amazed.
And that's why they talk about they're against transitional power, where military comes in, announces to people that is actually going to rule for a period of time, and it will not exit for others to come in. And it started like a joke. When it first happened in Mali, suddenly it happened in Niger, suddenly it happened in Burkina Faso, suddenly it happened in even Chad at a point.
Do you know
even Gabon?
Do you know the number of persons that take cases to the ECOWAS Court of Justice against the government in their individual countries? Do you know? Have you tried to go to the ECOWAS Court of Justice and you find out the amount of cases there and the ruling, the judgments pass, and these countries do not obey them? They don't obey them.
They don't.
They don't. A lot of the rulings in the ECOWAS countries, because most times people are beginning to lose confidence in their judicial system.
Yeah.
So they run to the ECOWAS Court of Justice to see whether they can get justice. Even when the judges there rule,
nobody listens.
Nobody listens. Now you're talking about military rule. Military rule can only thrive because people have lost confidence in those that are governing them, those who are in democratic rule in their sub-region or their country. It can only thrive if there's good governance. Nobody will even think about it. If there is good governance, nobody will think about it. Today, we are beginning to see this government. They are looking at several things.
In getting good governance,
yes.
So that nobody thinks about it.
Yes.
What are those things that are needed to have a very strong government?
Now, they have three arms of government: judicial, executive, and
the National Assembly, and the legislative.
These three arms are supposed to be independent, but do we actually have independence amongst these three? One has encapsulated the others, and we all know.
Meaning the institutions are weak.
The institutions have collapsed into one. For all most Nigerians know, only the executive exists as it stands today in this country. Only the executive is the one that at the time we start talking about rubber stamp for the National Assembly. You and I covers that place, and we know that is the talk that they have become rubber stamps. Even people are now saying they're no longer rubber stamp; they're even iron stamp.
Aside from Nigeria,
yes.
Jumbo.
Yes.
In Togo, for instance, I remember long before I could go to secondary school, we were memorizing some of these names. Is this somebody Nachingba Eyedima?
Yes.
Who ruled Togo for, I don't know when they got independence.
His son.
And when he died.
His son.
And as we speak, the son has stayed even far more than the number of years required. And as a matter of fact, he has even changed the constitution.
Yes.
To increase, it doesn't even have time to stay.
And now, if
does not have time.
If there's a if the soldiers decide to take over now, and now you say that a military rule has happened, would you blame the military for coming to remove him?
So if it is not like that, why would the ECOWAS leadership attended its meeting just on Sunday? They ended it, I think it was on Sunday. They ended this meeting just yesterday, that is to say, at the ECOWAS Secretariat there, where they made the two resolutions and how best it could be done. And the communique, they came out with it. And one of the issues they came out with is to ensure that military government against should not happen in Africa, either in Africa or the sub-Saharan region.
And they should. Some of the one of the other things should have been as well. They should that all the whole countries within the sub-region should entrench good governance as well. They should be able to make them entrench good governance if they don't want the military rule to come. They should be able to make those people that rule in those countries to know that security is one of the security and lives and property of those people is very important. They should be able to make them understand that they need judiciary, that they need health, they need housing, they need infrastructures. That these things are paramount. They should be able to do that as well, and then there will be any need for that as well.
So do you envy those countries that have really done that? Like for instance, Burkina Faso, where I have Brian Traore, where he's actually dominated social media with some of those things. I'm even thinking, yeah, okay, go ahead.
Two wrongs can never make a right. There's no place that, no time that I would support military rule. I don't support military rule. But what I'm talking about is that every attempt should be made to weed it off, to keep it off. Every attempt, every purposeful attempt by every person, every system, everybody everybody that is voted in democratically should entrench good governance. That is the remedy for all these things we're talking about. Or just the remedy.
Or is it democracy is alien to us?
It is not alien.
It's alien to us.
It is not alien. It's the people. It's the process. Let me give you an instance. The process in Africa of democracy is another thing. That is why when people lose faith in the endpoint, the process. We are talking about elections that are not credible. That elections that even when the most popular person is voted in, he or she will still lose because of the process. You've heard about it.
Yeah.
So the people now have developed cold feet to even go into to vote. They don't want to go vote because most times they believe that their votes will not count. Because you would see, even when there's apathy, you will still see them bring up numbers that you wonder where they came from.
Fictitious numbers.
Yes. Now you heard about the coup that happened where our former president was that's Goodluck Jonathan, the one that happened just recently. Again, Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau. You've heard about what led to it. The election that happened. The election happened in that place. Why the opposition is still claiming victory and all that. The next thing we had that this coup came. When Goodluck came back, Goodluck said that it wasn't a coup, that it was a ceremonial takeover. People have not asked question. What did he mean?
Ceremonial.
Could he have meant that the president knew that he was losing?
Yeah, probably the president knew that he was losing, so he brought in his brother.
Yes, so he brought in
his crony, who will now become a general in the army that will easily take over.
Yes, so and protect his interests.
They will both lose. The supposed incoming and the outgoing,
yes,
they have lost out.
They've lost out.
Yes.
It's still in this same Africa where me and you we are born and where we are still sitting that this thing happened. Sometimes you ask yourself, what type of people are these black people? This sub-region of Africa that we hear the kind of governance. People, in other climes, we hear a lot of that. We hear a lot of things happening, and we rejoice. We clap hands for them. We go to the news. We listen to the news. We watch. We see the renaissance, the reformation taking place every single day. Then what is wrong? What is wrong in Africa? Before elections will come, people, if you see that before going to election, they will tell you this person he doesn't have structures. These are the kind of things we hear. He doesn't have structures, and because he doesn't have structures, he will lose. So even if everybody votes for him, because he doesn't have structures, he would lose.
Can that be said to be almost like in Nigeria, where opposition parties have fizzled out completely on the surface of the earth?
Well, why?
Then we are now beginning to see like one party system. Nobody gets up to criticize. Well, usually the beauty of opposition is to put the government on check by constantly looking at its own policies and implementation of these policies, whether or not the government in power is doing it well. That's the most important beauty, the most important thing of of opposition party or parties. In Nigeria, we are beginning to see, is it to look at the entire southeast where you are coming from, where they used to have various political parties, south, the north central, is it the east, the northeast, or either the northwest, completely fizzle out?
Now, people are...
So is it a democratic coup?
No, this is not actually a democratic coup. The fear of the unknown, the government in power, they are looking at 2027. A new election is coming, so they are gradually emasculating their opposition. What we are seeing today is what happens if election comes and this person or the other person is in that party or that party that will be a threat. What do we do? People are defecting because where they are, they cannot contest elections successfully. Even if they win, the judiciary would, on technical ground, nullify their elections because of these technical issues that they are having.
Yeah.
Within them, factions are coming up, and supposedly people are saying that these factions are being financed from the background by the powers that be.
Some of these defections?
Yes, that are being financed from the background by the powers that be. The powers that
you mean, what do you mean by financing them?
Now,
is it like you now? You want to leave whatever party you belong?
No. Let me tell you why. You are in party B, and you are hoping to contest election tomorrow. What they are alleging is that those who are in power would go to your party, give money to an interested party, who would now make the party destabilize the party, go into crisis. Because the party is in crisis, they will have problem with leadership, and because of it, the process of entrenching their
candidates,
their candidates is now encumbered, and because of that encumbrance, if any candidate comes up under that platform tomorrow, the court can pinpoint those encumbrances and use it as
against the supposedly winner.
Yes, and the person will be losing in court. We know how many people who have lost. The whole state lost their candidates in court, even after they have won election, because of those technical reasons. These are the reasons why all these persons defecting. They're not defecting because they don't like their party, because of the crisis that have come up. And this crisis, like if you listen to what the opposition, some of the opposition members did on Sunday, they issued a statement that the ruling party is sponsoring crisis in the opposition to emasculate them.
That was what they said.
Yes, to emasculate them, and at the same time that they have weaponized EFCC. That they have weaponized EFCC. EFCC is being used to pursue, threaten these politicians.
Are you serious? Weaponizing EFCC. But of recent, though we are still discussing, these are some of the issues that sometimes bring about some of these changes we are talking about in some African countries. When things are not done properly, they create a kind of a big gap that will allow forces to come in, and then at the end you will not hear, Marshall song will be on radio and television. But that's not what I'm saying here anyway.
Yes.
But these are some of the things. Now, if you check, taking this analysis together, if you check EFCC and what EFCC is doing, is there anybody, is it talk about Malemi, or is it talk about Ngige, or whoever that has been accused and even detained?
Yes.
You hear outrageous figures of dollars, not even naira.
And that's one thing I keep saying.
So at what point will you say they are weaponizing?
Now, you ask yourself, who are these people? What is their political background? These are allegedly persons who did not support the emergence of this current government. They might have committed those crimes. They might have been involved in those atrocities. Just like what you would ask yourself is, who is not involved in it. Among those who are former this, former that, then that they are pinpointing and they prosecuting those who have become opponents for one political reason or the other. Allegedly, that Ngige, because Ngige supported Obi, because Malami didn't
want the president.
All these persons are members of the same.
But did they steal money? That's the question. No. Whether they committed fraud when they were in government. Of course they did.
I wouldn't say that. It's left for the court.
They did.
It's left for the courts to. It's left for the courts to prove that. No, I'm coming.
We are looking at areas. We are looking at
what's his name? Former Minister of Aviation, Senator
Siraki, Hadi Siraki.
Hadi Siraki.
Yeah, Hadi Siraki.
That also is also one of those that said is being victimized. Most of these fellows, they said, are going to opposition party.
But Jumbo would Hadi Sirika said being victimized. When you remember, towards the twilight of the immediate past government,
yes,
he said Nigeria was launching in Nigeria Airways and went on board an Ethiopian airplane, painted the Nigeria flag, and they invited the president. President even or whether he knew, I wouldn't know, but went to commission or to be part of that system. Only at the end of the day, we were told that there wasn't anything like that. And if somebody like that is being pursued and arrested by EFCC, you say weaponization?
No. Do you see what I said? I didn't say that these persons are innocent. I didn't say they were innocent.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that is perceived, perception is perceived that these persons that are being arrested and prosecuted by EFCC, and they are doing so because they did not support. Let me say they didn't make it. Let me use
that's another. That's another.
They didn't support
another angle to it.
That if EFCC is actually doing its job, that there are more persons, including those who
are inside this government.
We remember when a particular person that's a senator today said, if you want your crimes to forgive you, join the ruling party. Immediately, whatever you have done, immediately you join the ruling party. Your sins, yes. And even some that were arrested, if you remember what happened in Delta, immediately he was pulled in. After he was released, the next thing is he quickly went and he defected. Since that time, we have not had any more problems with EFCC. Is it not true? The former governor, he was arrested for one crime or the other. That he said EFCC was investigating. EFCC pulled him in, kept him behind in detention for some days. After immediately he was released, he called his protege, and quickly they went and defected, and nobody has had anything about that issue again. Yeah.
So by implications, these are some of the things that happens in a country that citizens wouldn't be so comfortable.
Yes.
And so when an officer in the army feels it's about time for him to strike, you now see people coming out in the streets to jubilate.
Of course.
That's what they're saying.
If you go to Imo State, up to now, you still remember how a certain governor emerged after coming fourth in an election.
Almost the last
person. And how the judiciary turned it around. Up to now, it is still a big topic in Imo State. And these are all what happens in a democracy. This is why some persons, when you see them, they say, they're not interested in anything that has to do with democracy, in voting and all that. After all, people voted, a lot of millions of votes brought in the person that they toppled, that judiciary toppled. We've seen it. We've seen a lot of reasons why people have lost interest in democracy. But democracy can actually be a very good, if well practiced.
If well practiced.
Then you said, what is wrong with it? You talked about the Francophone. It has nothing to do with Francophone country alone. It's all over Africa.
All over Africa.
It's all over Africa.
Okay. So we'll pray that the decisions that the ECOWAS leaders took, some of these decisions they took, they will actually go down to leaders who are currently on seats.
Yes.
To learn from what they have agreed upon, and they do justice with the way governance is supposed to be, so that everybody gets the benefit of it, other than only themselves, or stay almost unending till they die in power. Quite very unfortunate. So I believe with this resolution they took when they met in ECOWAS Secretariat and concluded their sitting just yesterday.
It had not stopped anything. Did it stop the man in the Gambia from not uttering the condition of his country, so that he can remain for as long as
Togo.
Yes.
Togo.
Yes, even in Togo, the man, the Yademe guy, they didn't stop him from saying
even Cote d'Ivoire.
Even Cote d'Ivoire.
Al-Hassan Ouattara.
Yes. Stop him.
Yeah,
so we knew when he became president.
Yeah, that they changed Laurent Gbagbo out of government.
Yes.
Just for him to come in. I thought by the time he would be there, when the constitutional period set aside for him, he would leave. But here we see he keeps renewing it until recently. He has again won, fizzling out his opposition.
You continue to win. And you ask yourself, actually, when you say win, how did they actually win in this?
And that's the word that we use for us now.
Now, let me tell you, you think the people are not stupid. They are not. These countries that people entrench themselves, it's not that their people love them so much. They weaponize poverty. When you weaponize poverty, and you make sure that the opposition doesn't in any way drive at all.
And that leads us to the issue of budget implementation in Nigeria, our second discussion. Just this afternoon, the Committee on Finance, Senate, had an interactive meeting with the stakeholders on medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal fiscal strategy paper. Usually, it starts from, they used to quantify this MTEF for 2 years every year. Like, for instance, if the budget of this year will come, the executive will send the MTEF to them for that year and the year to proceed for 2 years. For him to look at the revenues of all the MDAs and see whether or not they can now project a certain amount of money as budget of that particular year. Now, like we've been seeing, we had the opportunity, when we were in National Assembly, they brought the budget of 2024. These people, the lawmaker, passed it. 25, they passed it. 26, we were thinking that supposed to have arrived the National Assembly maybe in October. But here we are in December 15, that the MTEF is being discussed. I'm thinking that maybe he's coming to lay the budget maybe Thursday this week, so that they will now pass it and then go for Christmas and come back to implement it. But the question here is, 2024 budget and that of 2025, they are still running concurrently. According to what the Minister of Finance and Minister of Economic Planning or Coordination or whatever it is called, that's Wale Odun. He now said they projected a particular amount of money that's supposed for them to realize. But out of that amount of money, that of 2024, according to him, they were able to meet up with it. But that of 2025, they have only gotten 10 trillion out of the entire 40 trillion set aside, for capital project. Now, local contractors got involved in carrying out certain projects. Till now, they have not been able to pay. Until recently, that the minister had to ask them, the president had to ask the people involved to ensure that 30% of the 2025 budget should be set aside to pay the contractors. And that's one of the reasons that they came today to talk about it. Otherwise, why the importance of laying the budget when two of these budgets have not been fully implemented? So that will be a rollover, so to speak.
Talk is cheap. You heard what I said, talk
is cheap.
Every other time, for over 20 years now, we listen to them come to discuss the budget. They discuss it, the MTEF comes, they discuss the MTEF, then budget is presentation. So much fanfare. People are expecting several things from what is written in the book. But the question me and you should ask ourselves, do they actually implement it? Do they actually implement the budget? Now, like let's come back to this year. We have 2 budgets going, and a third one might be coming, just like because they've started the process.
Yes.
In Nigeria, a lot of people out there, if you want, you can go and sample public opinion. People have lost faith. Salaries of civil servants are barely paid as at when due. Overhead is not released because of what? Budget is not being met. They make budget projections, and they're not able, just like you said, the minister said, they're not able to get them. They keep borrowing, they keep drawing overdraft from bank to be able to meet up with the payment of ordinary salaries. They are borrowing from the banks to pay. Talk less of overhead, talk less of capital. Now,
and capital, that's where the problem is.
Most of the ministries, me and you should know, if we don't, that most of the ministries this year didn't get involved in capital projects. Only very few. We had so much happened in FCT because they were getting first line charge. They were getting first line charge, and the money they were making also from
Abuja, revenue generated.
The internally generated revenue. But outside FCT and what Dave Umahi is pursuing, is doing, which of the ministries again is doing something? Is it agric? Is it in science and technology? Is it in education? Is it in health? Go around all the sectors. Do a sectoral evaluation. You will find out most of it. We must tell ourselves the truth. The ministers, how many of the ministers do you even know? Can you even remember their names? Since they were sworn in, they disappear. Nothing is happening in their ministries. Some, when they come to work, they see some, and then every other distance, they go and have meetings, and then you see FEC has approved that, FEC has approved this. Some of the things that FEC even approves are not even in that same budget you and I talked about. Now, let me give you an instance. The most expensive contract that Nigeria ever did, the road running from Lagos to Calabar, was it in the budget? When was it bidded for? Who and who bidded? But yes, the budget. But we had, it was awarded, and work is entrenched. At which cost? They told us, this is the cost. That's all we had. Me and you, we are here. We another one also from Badagry to go to Sokoto. Were these budgets, very expensive budgets, were they, this expensive project, were they in their budgets? Was it publicly, was it bidded publicly? Was it tendered? The tenders board ever bid for it? Was it in the tenders bidding? We didn't see any of these things. Yet, the other day, you heard about, like you pointed out, local contractors. Now they have to be a presidential order to see if they can get something. And the minister is just saying now that they didn't get most of the budget. 2 budgets are running, and they were about to bring in a third one as well. Is it not true? Mm-hmm. So where would they still get the money to run it? And then they still told us, the president told us a couple of weeks back that they have all the monies that they projected to get, that they've gotten it. Is that not what he said?
Yeah.
So was he lying when he said that? Because the minister said they didn't get it. But he said they got all this money. He was happy. Even customs they overshot their expectations. That customs have overshot it. That everyone, the crude sales, they've gotten everything. Yet the Minister of Finance said we didn't get up to 30%. Is that not what he said today? Mm-hmm. Good. So who is lying? Everything in Nigeria is politicized.
So now with this issue, this MTEV and the intention of the executive
probably to come and cheap.
They are coming to lay the budget.
Yes.
Most likely this week, Thursday, I believe so. Now that they are discussing MTEV, Minister of Finance, Minister of Budget, National Planning, Minister of many of them, including FIRS DG, including that of NPA, including that, I think I didn't see NIMASA. You know, all these non-oil outfits, they were all there, you know, trying to tell how much they are likely to contribute for the budget.
That's
and
true.
then they now ask them what was their projection in 2024 or 2025. They say some of them said they exceeded even the amount they projected.
But you had the minister who is supposed to be there.
But the chairman of the committee, that's the person of Sani Musa representing Niger East, is of the opinion that the local contractors must be paid. In fact, he even told the minister that the accountant general of the federation to tell him whether or not there's money to pay the local contractors. The accountant general said yes, there's money. He now said that he's going to constitute a committee of 3.
So why haven't they paid the rest money?
Yeah, according to him, that they have started paying. But the question is, for that long, it's been a very long time since they concluded what they were asked to do, carry out their project successfully, but there's no money to be given to them until this time around. And so it is only when there's when capital projects are really going on that will create employment. And if nothing is happening, you know, in the country, obviously there will be unemployment. And that again leads to the issue of insecurity in this country, where they become willing tools for any other person to use them.
My brother, like I said, talk is cheap. Implementation, the challenges of implementation in this country is like, let me say, it's a routine, year in, year out. Every government, successive governments have come with ideas, lofty ones, and then budgets are met. Me and you, just like you said, the president will come, lay it, you go through it, constituency projects, name it, all of it, rolling out, several of it. People now start looking into it. The first one come, the second one, we kept running deficit budget. Then because of it, they have to borrow. Nigerians will say, you want to borrow again, you want to. They say, we have not even borrowed enough. Every other country, advanced country, they have to borrow. We need to get to a threshold. Grammar, big grammar, and all of these things. By the time you know it, they borrow from this bank, they borrow from World Bank, they borrow from all these institutes, and then all of it. The projects, they said, this one's going to be for that project. At the time, when even they want to borrow, they don't even bring out. You won't even see what the monies are going to be for. They won't even bring it. Me and you have been in National Assembly and we have seen sometimes when the borrowing plan is coming, they don't make it public.
Yeah.
Yet the National Assembly will approve.
Wow.
And once they approve, the budget would get in place, and then we wait. Then they say, we couldn't. There's no money.
To buy cash backing.
No cash backing. All kind of grammar. We've had pardon. There's nothing we've not had when it comes to budget in Nigeria. Then we ask ourselves, now when they want to do it, no, only those people that are elitists will go and listen to it. Nigerians don't care anymore.
My brother. Well, it's quite unfortunate that we have found ourselves at this stage, but I do believe, you know, it's we're in the learning process, as I believe so.
Learning process.
Let me just conclude by saying we are on a learning process, and I believe at the end of the day, something tangible will still come out. Let's just be tolerant to what we see. There might be light at the end of the tunnel.
I'm happy to say there might.
Yes.
But anything, this is a country that we pray a lot. Let us make conscious effort. Yeah. Governance is very simple. It's not as intricate as they have made it to be. Yeah. It's very simple.
Sure. Well, Mr. Jumbo, I want to really appreciate you for being part of this program, The Desk. I made to understand we're supposed to be 3 or more, where we share ideas on some of these topical issues, where you analyze in the way they should. But I really appreciate you for your insight on these wonderful topics we have just thrown out for public to understand. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, well, that's how far we can go on the program, The Dex. My name again is Topsy Gimba. We shall be doing it again some other time. Do have a very lovely time. See you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you.